Alright, in this video I'm going to be fair and balanced as much as I possibly can. I'm going to be in the middle. I'm going to tell you what's right and what's wrong in this video. So, the vision card for the step up is just okay. You can apply it to an ally, okay, that's fine, but it's still just okay. It's just not, it's not top tier, it's just okay, guys. So, the vision card would get like an 8 because you can apply it to an ally, but still, lightning's on banner, you could be spending on that instead if you want to get lightning. Anyways, her TMR is just okay, but her STMR is of course the talk of the town because it gives 100% LB damage. But honestly, in my opinion, I feel like LB damage is just so much so easy to gear for now. Like, I don't feel like it's that big of a deal. It's just a little easier. Anyways, her own vision card is just okay before it. Let's check to see how much it is. 30% is actually not too bad. Of course, you'll eventually, if you have buffs for this, they'll be overwritten, but for 5 turns, it's not too bad. Because you're not really worried about that at the beginning of, so you'll be taking actually less damage against these types. So her own vision card is actually not that bad for the middle ability. Like I said in my news video, I knew that would be the case, and it is. So she has 2 imbues, and also extend like 2 turns of Ice Imperil and also Dark Imperil, which is okay, I guess. 10% less on the ice one, but her focus isn't on ice. That's just the case on most units anyways, so that's fine. Get a fill of morale, but only 5 turns, but that's like quite a bit actually. That's one of her level up abilities. Okay, if this was like every 2 turns, this would be pretty broken, but kind of in a way, like in terms of just filling morale. Filling morale nowadays is not that big of a deal anyways, but that's still pretty good. I don't know, I don't agree with that being her level of ability. Okay. Only 85% breaks. Oh, this recast every turn. Okay. I didn't say that in my I thought that when it said that was at every... Okay, so actually we didn't go back every turn. Whenever I see autocast, I just think it's only 1 turn after, but I'm not used to seeing every turn, so actually that kind of changes things. So every turn you're just getting 140% Dark Imperil, as long as she's alive, because she has to be there to cast it at the beginning of the turn. So as long as she stays alive, you're going to be getting this off. This one does not have it, unfortunately, but this one does. So you're getting 85% break permanently, as long as she stays alive, and also 35% Katana Imperil, which is, they're just okay. They would be nice as to, like, if you start the battle. Remember, a lot of units have like 70% breaks at the start. So this is kind of, you want to think of it the same way as this, even though you have to use it. You can think of it the same way as this, whereas like 85% is like the baseline now, and only 1 use per battle for the attack magic break. Then you're relying on only 85% outside of Clash of Wills. Okay, and AoE defends the spirit break 89%. Okay, like we have units that can do better than this, and they're older. So why are you gatekeeping this? That doesn't really make sense to gatekeep it, but whatever. One thing that's very notable is that she doesn't have a chain cap at all. Unless these are it, which I don't think they are. I saw people already saying that she doesn't have chain cap, and she does not. So you need to have her own, you need to have her STMR on top of another thing in order for her to have chain cap, which is ridiculous for a TDH unit. Usually TDH units get 50 or 500%. She's one of the rare exceptions where she actually only has 400% as a TDH unit. I believe she's TDH anyways. Yeah, she is. Because her TMR gives TDH. So, one of the rare exceptions, if you go back and watch my videos where I say like, oh, usually, you know, TDH units have 500%, this is one of those units that don't have it. So, okay. So we kind of have like a twist of things here. She has a lot of killers. She actually has pretty good killers, but killers for these types are pretty easy to gear for. Demon, Human, Machine, and Dragon are all easy to gear for, so it's not that big of a deal. What? Oh, okay, this is a buff. I was like, what? Now you're overcapping? No, this is a buff. So that's interesting. So you'll be able to get 250% Human, Machine, and Dragon Killer buff. And okay, so let's just get to it. Let's talk about the Clash of Wills only breaks 90% 90% full break for all enemies, but only in Clash of Wills, so I'm not sure why it's AoE when there's usually only one enemy. Does that mean that we're going to be getting multiple enemies soon? I hope not. And then Ice Dark Resistance 170%, which is the highest in the game by far. And also she has another thing that's by far the highest. 50% Katana Imperil, which is the highest, I'm pretty sure, in the game. Or maybe I don't think anyone else has higher. I don't think anyone else has a higher weapon imperil. Usually it's like 45 for premium units. Some premium units have 45%, but 50% is the highest, I think. Be sure to, maybe Kaito has something. I don't know. I don't think he does. I know he has a lot of imperils, but 50% is very high, and katanas are widely used. And she also has 40% for a lot of the everything. I mean, that's pretty good, but you can only use it once? I mean, you get 30% after, so this is really only useful for the Katana Imperil and then a burst. Like, you're trying to set, you'd only use this when you're trying to burst, because there's only 3 turns, so you really want to use this when you're ready to burst. And then if you don't do enough, then you can just one-shot it afterwards, because it still lasts for 2 more turns. So the 170% Dark Imperil is pretty nice as well. And it's on a cooldown. It's like 10 turns, so you're only going to be able to use this one time in Clash of Wills, unless I remember that they like extend the 10 turn thing, so maybe you could use it one more time if that's the case. And then there is something else here that's 40% Dark Imperil for 10 turns. Okay, so that's all the things that are the most noteworthy, or things that you should know about. Now the things that you should obviously know about in terms of negatives. Obviously she's not going to be a damage dealer because she has the breaker tag, and so she's not meant to deal damage. She's more of a supportive role in terms of being able to deal damage. And everything else, not having chain cap at all, so now you need one of her STMR and one other thing to get 600% as a TH unit. No weapons, so she's not getting any 500 flat stats, so she's probably getting attack otherwise from other things, like including her EX3 and EX2. I think the biggest thing, of course, is the locked to Clash of Wills better breaks and weapon imperils and stuff, and only one use for this one. And I don't understand what all this unknown stuff is, but 30% field is pretty decent, but just she's an SLB unit, so she doesn't have 89% defensive spirit break on her SLB. Like, what's that for? What's up with that? 160% Dark Imperil, pretty nice, but 88% defensive spirit break, and she doesn't have access to 90% attack and magic break. She only has access to 89 and only one use for 3 turns. And then you're stuck with 85 for the rest of the battle on a non-Clash of Wills boss fight. There's a lot wrong. There's some right, and then there's a lot wrong with her. I don't really understand why they decided to gatekeep Cater for this when they wouldn't even compete anyways. Like, Cater's only useful for magic fights for the most part. And Ellesperis is really only useful in Clash of Wills and not really outside of Clash of Wills at all. You would never really want to use. She'd be a waste of a slot outside of Clash of Wills, in my opinion. So I'm trying to be as fair as possible, but we gotta be negative about the unit as well as talking positively about it. So the positives, TLDR, the positives, 50% Katana and Pearl inside of Clash of Wills is insanely strong. 170% Dark and Peril. Being able to recast these abilities every turn, I guess, is okay. It would be even better if the recasted the Imbue, but I guess maybe that would be annoying for some situations, but for Dispel purposes, that would have been pretty decent, but okay. And I don't really see much else. Like, I honestly feel like she's just a little short. She was hyped up. Like, why would you bring Ellesperis back as an EVA unit, but then give her, like, just subpar kit, generally? But other than that, she's okay, but I'm just kind of torn. There's some good, there's some bad, but, like, the skills are obviously on the bad side. They're obviously lifting up like this. The bad side is here, or no, here, and the good side's up here. I think that's how scales work, right? I know I don't have a scale in real life, so I'm assuming that's how that works. Where the lower ones on the one side and the other side. So obviously, most people are probably not going to pull for her. I don't understand why they decided to make her in the way that she is, and they refused to give out Cater. And now people are wondering about Vanille. I think Vanille is going to come out next week. I think Vanille is going to come out just fine because she is with one other band unit. So I don't think they're just going to release Saz and nothing else, because Saz is not worth pulling on his own. It's more worth it if they're both there. So it'd be kind of weird if they only put out Saz but not Vanille. Are they just going to start removing breakers? Like, they're not competing with each other. There's no reason to gatekeep this. There was no reason to gatekeep Cater for this when, like, they literally don't compete with each other at all. The only thing that you can say is that they both have 90% breaks, or 90% spirit break, and 89%, I guess, for outside Clash of Wills. But, like, so Ellesperis is gonna get 7.5, I think, is fair. Low damage, but she's not meant to be, but still low damage. Even though she's not meant to be, it's still low damage. And a lot of restrictions for Clash of Wills only. Whereas most people care about Dark Visions a lot of the time, and Vision World as well. So just too many restrictions and not enough oomph. Like, not giving me enough for the restrictions. If this, like, let's just say, for example, now that the review is over, let's say, for example, that you could use this three uses per battle for this one, and this is not as huge of a cooldown. This is like 5 turns, or maybe even 4 turns on a 4-turn cooldown in Clash of Wills at least. I think that'd be a lot better. The HP is not a big deal. Like, a lot of people are making a big deal out of the HP thing, but, like, just used at the beginning and then have your healer heal unless they're zombie, which is a big deal, of course. But the HP reduction thing is not a big of a deal if you use it in moderation. It never was. It never was a big deal. A lot of Dark Knight. There's been several Dark Knight units in the game, and it's never been that big of a deal. So I don't know why it's being brought up now. It really isn't a big deal, in my opinion. I've used many Dark units in the past, and they've never had a big deal because you use their abilities at the beginning, and then you wait for your healer to do it last, instead of doing it first. So that's my breakdown, that's my opinion. If you disagree with it, if I have some bad takes in here, let me know in the comment section down below, but I try to be as fair as possible. I didn't want to just bash unit and call it a video, because that's boring to me. I want to see the positives in everything. Even if the unit is like a 4 out of 10, I'm gonna find at least one thing in there that's actually decent or good, because, you know, there has not even been a 4 out of 10 unit in a while. I can't remember the last 4 out of 10 unit that I've even done. So yeah, 7.5 out of 10. Is she worth the Lapis? No. You worth the tickets? Probably not. You worth the daily? Maybe. You maybe throw a few dailies in there to maybe get her. Maybe get that STMR, but I would just stay away from pulling hardcore unless you're a whale, of course you're gonna pull anyways. So I'm not talking to you. I'm talking to people who pull for lightning or just got done pulling for lightning and don't have very much left, and now you're like, oh shoot, now this unit came out. Do I need to worry about her? Nah. So that's it. Sorry for the very long video, but some people said that they like the long video, so okay. You got your wish. You got a 15-minute video out of me. Anyways, I'll see you in the next video. Peace.